This article boldly claims the first AAA game is Final Fantasy VII. Sure, why not?
Wait, that's a real thing?
I don't know if it's a real thing. It's something that was...
It's a thing someone claims.
Yes, someone said.
No, I mean, like, this article that you are talking about is a real thing?
It's a real thing as in that it's on Wikipedia.
Oh,
yeah. Exactly. I don't know who wrote that, but you got to draw the line somewhere.
You could defend it with the CG and stuff. Anyway, let's move on. Let's start.
$3.99? Are you out of your mind? This is the Insert Credit Podcast, where the true horrible buzzer is the enemies we have made with our video game opinions.
Yeah.
I'm Alex Jaffe, but my mid-2000s nerdcore rap persona is Pseudoderm.
Oh, wow.
I guess it's me, because Frank's not here. I'm sorry.
Frank's not here.
I'm Ash Parrish, and my mid-2000s rap persona was the token black chick. That's almost very true.
What does that mean?
In that it was my online persona, but it was not my rap one.
Close enough.
Nice. I'm Brandon Sheffield. My online rap persona, I'm going to go more in kind of on the back end of things, but I'm going to be DJ Engine. It's PC Engine, but DJ.
Yeah, I get it. That's pretty good.
So, it's fine.
I think MC Engine would be closer than DJ Engine because you got the C.
Sure, MC Engine is better. It's just I don't want to be the mic controller. I want to be the disc jockey, but that's okay. I'll be MC Engine. It's a thought experiment. Right. I don't have to actually do it.
Frank Cifaldi is away on assignment in absentia. Joining us once again is our very good friend Liz Ryerson.
Hello. I'm Liz Ryerson. My mid-2000s. So I literally was on the internet making music in a nerd community in the mid-2000s. And I won't say what my handle is because I changed it for a good reason. But if you're a true, head or whatever, and you were listening 20 years ago, then you know what it is. So that's what it was.
Sleuthin'.
Well, great.
Yeah, get sleuthin', you parasocial jerks.
Yeah. Get sleuthin', you. I didn't make nerdcore, but I think nerdcore it's gonna come back at some point.
Please no.
Oh yeah,
it hasn't already.
Please no.
It's a 20-year cycle. It's due.
I know
30-year cycle. It's going to come back.
MC Frontalot's going to be
please don't do this to me.
The horse of the apocalypse.
We're going to have like MC Chris type things. Yeah, it's going to be a time.
My husband can literally recite all of that Boba Fett rap. It is horrifying and also really attractive at the same time. Please, I don't want to do this again.
I think there is something to just being a Gilbert and Sullivan patter song guy in any situation, in any context. Just being able to say a lot of words really fast is a human mating call.
That's the mid-2000s iteration of Gilbert and Sullivan guy is nerdcore rapper.
Yeah, nerdcore rapper.
History does not repeat, but it often rhymes.
That is what George Lucas told us.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Are we ready to talk about video games for a 399th time?
Yes.
Well, not me. It's like the 8th time or something.
I imagine you have had at least 398 conversations about video games outside of the context of this audio program.
Probably, yeah.
I've seen many of them. We were on the same message boards.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, here's my first question today. What was the first AAA video game?
No.
We were just talking about this before recording, and Wikipedia claims that it was Final Fantasy VII. So what I was actually going to say is I could believe that that's the first game, and again, I was with 10 or 11 or something, that I remember people talking about in the way that they would talk about a AAA game, in that it did feel like that, and Metal Gear Solid did feel like larger than life things or something, like some kind of quote unquote elevated entertainment. I mean, obviously Zelda and stuff as well, but that was the first time that I feel I heard people talking about things like that in that way. So yeah,
those CG, those commercials that were just the CG sequences from Final Fantasy VII were like, whoa, something's really happening here. But I could see someone making a case for something like Mario 64. because you had like full 3D, and it was so you could feel the budget from that thing at that time. Of course, Nintendo would not have said it, but I could see someone making an argument for something like that as well. But Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid, those feel pretty good to me. But I feel like that was crystallized when you had something like Grand Theft Auto 3. I feel like that was kind of undisputedly AAA because it cost a lot, it made a lot, and it was very ambitious, and it had a lot of things you could do in it.
What about Pac-Man?
Why?
I understand, at least thinking about what AAA means right now, it's like a big budget game that everybody plays and everybody talks about. I know Pac-Man, everybody plays and everybody talks about, not necessarily something that costs a lot of money to make, or did it? I don't know. But like, it feels like Pac-Man would also qualify because that was like a huge, big freaking deal, right? Like,
I think it was too early for the differentiation to be required, though. I think that's the thing with Pac-Man. It's like when Pac-Man came out, you had like Space and Pong was a big hit, Space Invaders was a big hit, and then Pac-Man was a third big hit. And then it's wait, yes, that's the right order.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, video games are really something, but Pac-Man didn't have anything to compare to exactly in terms of like what wouldn't be AAA if Pac-Man was. You know what I mean?
I think there's a temptation to draw an equivalence, and maybe it's because they're simply the same thing in their respective media. AAA video games and blockbuster movies, where what one considers is the impact that the game has, the amount of people who experience it, its broad appeal to a mass culture.
And that's why,
I get it from that perspective.
Right.
So once again, we're quibbling about defining our terms and
of
what
course
is
we
a
are. Welcome to insert credit, Ash.
Well, I think an interesting question is like, if it's not Pac-Man, then would there be a 2D game that you would consider a AAA game? I remember reading about like Ultima 7 or something, the Blackgate that had like a ton of people working on it, had a ton of money invested in it, or like like in terms of scope or whatever, like Final Fantasy 6 is not, or Chrono Trigger is not really that meaningfully different from like Final Fantasy 7, like outside of
outside the graphics.
I would say two early 2D candidates would be, considering like the media marketing blitz around them, Super Mario Brothers 3 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah, I was going to say Sonic the Hedgehog would definitely fit in that.
Yeah,
the
like
structure
media blitz
that we're creating. Yeah,
I think I'm thinking about it in terms of when would people at the top of their business, like the CEO of EA, start to use it, because I feel like that's who that term is really for, and who wants that term to exist the most.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I think film envy plays into it, like because like in the mid 90s there was this obsession, like how can games be more cinematic, and like a lot of investment in like getting actors to play FMV games or whatever. And then by the late 90s it solidified into like polygonal graphics. Oh, and Kojima has like a somewhat, at least as a film fan or whatever, and it's like calling some of those reference points or whatever. So I feel like the cinematic, quote unquote, intersecting with like, not being a separate category from like what other games were, and that them kind of sort of marrying together in some way feels like part of the idea of like what a AAA game is, comes to that.
I have a specific example which makes me feel that this term solidified more in the 2000s, which is there was a game that was talked about as being very cinematic and having a huge budget and having a lot of people working on it, that was not described, this perhaps my fallible memory, but not described as AAA, which is Shenmue, which was talked about as the most expensive video game of all time, this huge Herculean undertaking of a lot of people, and a step forward in the field of video games and realism, but it wasn't called AAA to my memory at that time. I think you might call it that now, but growing up during that time, it doesn't feel like it applies, even though it obviously would by most definitions that we could think of.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about GTA 3, that is the first game. Well, I didn't start feel I don't feel like I started hearing people use the word AAA until, you know, the 2000s. And also like AAA games implies something that is like tends to lean heavier on violence, I would say. So games that maybe aren't as violent or don't have those themes maybe aren't as like, you know, easily categorized as AAA in my mind. And not that those are always put together, but often they are. So yeah.
So I think Pac-Man was a blockbuster video game, but not AAA. Maybe
Yeah.
Is kind of where we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at. And I can accept that, and that is time. Factoring out the playing of it, is it harder to write about a good video game or a bad video game?
It's all hard. It all sucks. It doesn't suck. They are both equally difficult and equally easy. It just really depends on, at least from my perspective, what it is that I want to say about the game and figuring out how to say it, which is all the writing. It's really hard. I'm thinking about it harder. I feel like it's harder to write about a bad video game because there is an impulse in me to not like just completely come out and trash it. And I think there's merit in any kind of game, even bad ones. And I would want to bring that out more instead of just like focusing on the bad. But there's also another part of me that says like, you know, because I'm worried about like, oh, I'm trying to trash this game. And, you know, not that I will solely be responsible for it, but like, you know, people are going to see that. And then, you know, developers are going to lose their jobs. But I guess now that I think about that, it doesn't matter what I say because the developers are going to lose their job anyway. Yeah. It's just really, I think the difficulty for me is like finding something interesting to say about either a good game or a bad game. That's the part. That's the difficult part. Like finding something interesting to say versus game good, game bad, you know?
Yeah. If I were to rank these in terms of difficulty, I think the hardest one, so like the easiest is a good game because it probably makes you think about stuff. The next most difficult is a bad game, but if it's a bad game that's trying something or doing something, then you've got some things to talk about. And the hardest is the secret third tier, an uninteresting game, a game about which there's just not really much to grab onto. That's the tough one. Like a bad weird game, you can find an angle. I agree totally that like dunking on stuff feels bad, and so you like a game that you didn't like. It feels weird to just trash it.
Wait, are you saying you didn't like the new Donkey Kong? Is that what you're saying?
I don't have a Switch 2.
Oh, I thought you said Donkey Kong. Did you say Donkey Kong?
Dunking on.
This is another Hong Kong situation.
Holy shit.
Woo.
Yeah, what I was going to say, I think it depends on the type of game. But the challenging thing about writing about games is, and I was thinking about this because I played Immortality from a few years ago. And that game is like, they basically filmed 3 movies for that game. So it's like if you're writing about that game, because it's an FMV game, you know, and there's like a mystery element or, you know, without spoiling. So if you want to write about the game, you have to write about the 3 films that are in that game and their themes. You have to write about the way that the game was designed, how you interact with the game as the experience, like any of the meta elements. Like if you're really writing about a game from all angles, you have to talk about how easy or difficult, you know, the basics of like what it is mechanically, how it feels to play, like, you know, what the experience is like. You also have to talk about like the narrative and thematic theme, you know, thematic themes, the narrative and thematic elements, like all of the sort of components. You talk about the technical stuff, obviously. So there's just like a lot of different levels to doing it, which makes it really hard. And obviously, like traditionally, so much of writing about games has been focused on just how it feels to play and the moment to moment of that, and not really analyzing some of the theme stuff very much. So that's like a real challenge. But I also think that like bad writing, like reviews that trash bad games, like there's a reason why, like, you know, Kusoge is a thing and whatever. And some of that is like games become notorious because they get bad reviews that trash them or whatever. And then that might drive some popularity of the game, or people like ironically enjoying it or whatever you want to say. So I think it can be fun to write a negative review of something, but obviously it's difficult for anything that's like newer if, you know, the developers are really depending on positive reviews. And I don't know, like, I know writing criticism, it became really hard, and I sort of got to a point where I didn't want to end up writing about other stuff negatively, because when I did, it made people really, really upset, and that became a whole thing, and it just felt like a huge waste of time and energy. And it sucks because there are things that are worth criticizing and writing about negatively. And I guess, like, if I write like an entry in Backlogged or something, you know, off the cuff, like, I'm going to be probably more honest than if I like were devoting time and energy professionally to covering something, in which case, you know, for a publication like Ash does, or like Brandon's done in the past, like, I would probably, you know, be a lot more measured and, you know, but I don't know. It's just difficult to write about a game, especially if you're trying to write, because there's so many different angles of like approach that you could talk about something in, and it makes it really challenging.
Just want to interject and say I was familiar with the term Kusoge, but wasn't quite sure. I had to look it up, and I found out what it means. And then I saw a picture of the Sailor Moon fighting game, and I almost blacked out from being irrationally angry, because no, that is not game. A Kusoge. But then I realized
there's several.
There's several? Yeah. I don't know. The one with Sailor Saturn in it. Or
there's There's
Sailor
several.
Pluto? I'm not sure. But I saw it and I'm like, no, this is incorrect.
The 3DO one, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
there are things that one.
Super Nintendo one of them is good.
There are things that people call Kusoge that are, I think, legitimately like perfectly good games. So I don't know.
I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know.
That's time.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
My next question is, what's the best Kusoge?
So I actually did. I have done, funnily enough, a guest lecture at NYU about Kusoge for like the last few years, because I thought it was an interesting subject, and I thought like it was a thing that 18-year-olds would pay attention to, and I was very correct in that assumption. Yeah. So like I had these like categories that I actually made up of what Kusoge were, and I can't bring it up right now, but like to summarize, it's basically like, you know, you have to sort of break it apart into different categories of like, is this a game that is like interesting in some ways, but maybe was compromised by development problems or like having a limited amount of time? Is it something that is just has a unconventional approach that people just don't quite understand, but is perfectly fine? Is it something that is like really cynical and actually a cash in? Is it like first time developers who didn't really know what they were doing, but maybe it's interesting in some way? Or is it just like a cult game that, you know, people might call that is not that at all, like Deadly Premonition or whatever? You probably wouldn't call that Kusoge, but somebody might. So I think those categories are the ones that are most interesting to me out of that are like, especially ones where it's like they just have a different approach or whatever, but it's not really bad. Like the Mystery of Atlantis, like Atlantis no Nazo for the NES, like that often gets called a Kusoge because it is really a really frustrating game, but it's one of those things that has like a really interesting, unconventional sort of approach to design. And so I tend to find like that angle of, you know, quote unquote Kusoge, like the most interesting to me. Or even games like Super Pitfall for NES is not a good game, but like it's kind of interesting just for what it is. Like, so things can sort of become, I don't know, like I think it's, you know, it's the same way as like talking. I compare it to like Ed Wood or whatever. It's like talking about, like, Ed Wood is not the worst director of all time or whatever. Right. His films are actually quite interesting, and that's why they got popular as cult movies. Because, I mean, they were bad in a technical sense, but they also were captivating, and there was something about that really captured people. And that's, like, a lot more interesting to me than something that's mediocre and, you know, kind of flies under the surface. So I think that's, you know,
for me, it's the games that are the ones that I would say are the best are the games that are ambitious, but the ambition outstripped the ability, or the ones where the decisions made are really difficult to unravel from a player perspective. Like, it forces a meta narrative upon you where you have to wonder, what they were thinking and what their approach was supposed to be. So there's some games like there's a game called Not Treasure Hunter.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah,
which is a PlayStation 1 game.
There's a classics of game clip of it. Yeah,
it's got like 60 something endings. I know a guy who's gotten all of them. It's janky and it's a little hard to control. But the main thing is like there's just traps and pitfalls everywhere, and it's really hard to know what's gonna kill you and what's gonna whatever. But the ambition of having all of those endings and really trying to make something out of this. Like trying to make an Indiana Jones action adventure game in Japan when you didn't have the budget is kind of neat. There's another game I think about which I kind of forget the name of right now. It's a PC Engine baseball RPG where you're building like your team is your baseball team. But like for the first, I read a guy's like play-by-play of it. It was on a Japanese blog a long time ago, and like for the first half of the game, you're playing without a legal full team of baseball players. You're playing with like 3 people, and it's like nearly impossible to win. And there's just all this stuff. It's like the people who made it understood neither baseball nor RPGs, and they
this
made
sounds like
something
Proto
that
Blaze Ball. Remember that? Remember Blaze Ball?
Yeah, I remember Blaze Ball.
Yeah, though I guess that was more intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Death Crimson, by the way?
Yeah, Death Crimson is one of the
that's another one of those.
One of the classics where Death Crimson on the Saturn was like it had so many serious problems and was so poorly done, but in a way that felt like you could defeat it somehow. That people felt compelled to get through it. And I think also the music was interesting enough. There were some parts of it that felt like something that you were like, I'm just going to try again. Yeah, there's a game that I like called Lady Phantom on the PC Engine, which is a tactics game. And it's not good, but it is compelling. There's a character who's a tank. She's like really good, but she can never make it to she's slow. Like they were like, okay, here's a good trade-off. She'll be really strong, but she's very slow. She can never make it to attack an enemy. It's like in any map. She's just too slow to get there. And once you kind of like learn the accidental rules of this game, it kind of becomes another game. You have to figure out how to play the game that wasn't intended, but the game that is available. And that can be really fun. And that was I was having so much fun playing through that one and like figuring out, okay, this one I can actually get over. It's just,
And that's time.
It introduces a new premise, I think, that, a new sort of approach.
What is the don't watch past season 8 of The Simpsons of video games?
Oh.
Halo. Don't play past Halo 4.
Past Halo 4 is your cutoff.
Halo Guardians was okay. You can do Halo Guardians.
Oh, Halo 3 is my cutoff.
You know, I thought Halo Infinite was fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
No, I did not.
But it's no Halo 3. It's no Halo 2.
Halo Reach came after Halo 3, right?
That's true,
yes.
Yeah, you can cut off after Halo Reach. I like 4 and I like Guardians, but you could probably stop safely after Halo Reach.
And I think that fits with the metaphor because I think there are a lot of defenders of Simpsons like season 9 through 12, but it's not Prime Simpsons.
Yeah.
For me, it used to be id Software games, like past a certain point. Like
they came back.
I don't know. But I people like Quake 3 and like I guess maybe that's around where you would put the cutoff. I would maybe even put it earlier, but some people like Quake 2. But then, some people like Doom 3 or whatever. And then obviously they had the rebooted Doom games, which people really liked. And now people are only sort of like. So that's a little more confusing.
That also fits because there are a lot of Simpsons people who are like, no, Simpsons got good again. And I don't believe them.
Yeah, I don't fully believe in the Doom 2016 and beyond, but I think I believe more in that than I do in new Simpsons.
Me too.
So.
I think the modern Doom games are much more universally beloved. The detractors are fewer than the attractors.
Although they have increased like within the last one or whatever.
Sure.
I heard more negative sentiment about Doom Eternal and especially the latest one.
This is. No, it's not quite right. But There's some people that are very upset about Final Fantasy not being turn-based anymore, and you could maybe make an argument.
No.
That's all.
Here we go.
No.
Ash, any thoughts about that?
No, no. You shouldn't play all of the Final Fantasies. Play the ones that you like. Play the ones that you can easily access. I don't think I'm sure there's merit in going back and playing like the 1 through 6 or whatever, but I don't really care. No, because each of those are like different games on a spectrum versus like Halo, which is like a continuation of like a single story, maybe.
You know, it would be interesting to me, and it's a different question almost, but you made me think of this, Ash, because there are people who came to Sonic after it was 3D versus people who started with the 2D Sonic and were like 3D Sonic sucks, and then there are people who were like 3D Sonic is Sonic, like that's it. That doesn't track onto the Simpsons thing, but it is an interesting, like, are there other properties where like there's a before and after group, but both of them are staunch proponents of their section?
Sonic would be the one, but
yeah,
I gotta say, I love all of my Sonic Adventure brethren. I love them so much. We need them. I need them. We need them. You are the other half of me. But I have tried on more than one occasion to get into like Sonic Advance and Sonic Advance 2 and the games on the DS, and I can't do it. They're ass, man. City Escape, there's good levels within them, but like just overall, like I've tried so hard. And I like some of the later games, like some of the later 3D games. Sonic Unleashed, okay, I can get into it. Sonic Generation, perfect. I liked some of those Sonic Advance levels, but like the base games, the foundation for which a lot of these people have like built their identity of Sonic around, like I just can't. I guess you literally had to be there. I had to be there. I wasn't there.
You can't dig for chaos shards in Knuckles level.
Well,
I can't do it.
I think
I can't go back.
You can't do the Pumpkin Hill Zone rap.
Yeah.
A weird specific thing with Sonic where some of these folks may never have played Sonic Adventure on a Dreamcast. They probably played Sonic Adventure on PC, with a bunch of quality of life mods. Like they probably never played the more janky versions. They probably played these really smoothed out versions.
I don't believe so. I believe that these are people who were like 12.
I'm just saying there are some people.
Like,
definitely the younger.
Yeah. Like,
the younger
people who are like 22 now or 30, even 30.
I did want to interject, by the way, because I just thought of one. It's Silent Hill. Silent Hill is the obvious.
Yeah.
But I played some of Silent Hill Downpour, and it's actually pretty good. But it is
Where do you cut off, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it usually cuts off after 4 because that's the original team is gone.
Oh, I would have said 3.
Yeah, some people would say 3.
A lot of people like 4, though. 4 is like the season 8 of The Simpsons, I guess.
Has anyone ever done a Sonic Silent Hill mashup called Pumpkin Hill? I feel like it's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is about as close as you can get.
Yeah, I suppose so. Something to contemplate as we all go right here into the break. We'll be right back on the Insert Credit Program, episode 399. Last week on episode 398, Horsewives, we asked you what indie game means. Here's what you said.
An indie game is when the most pretentious, annoying person you know can't stop posting about it.
So I think I have an answer to the question of how you classify games or studios as indie or not. And I believe it comes down to funding for the project. You know, let's take an extreme example. You're a solo dev, you fund everything that you do from publishing. You've got full creative say over what the game can be. And what I'd argue is the other extreme end is you're a studio that is either owned by a publisher or you've been funded through some other party, like some other third party that has either hard or soft stipulations over what the content can be. So maybe you're state funded, but that state has hard, explicit or sort of soft, implicit restrictions on what the content can be about, what it can criticize, etc. Even down to what kind of characters and gameplay can be in it. It might be something which seems kind of benign, like you're funded by a government grant, but the grant stipulates that the game has to be non-violent for some political reason. But you get the idea. Like, games have to be funded with people, money, and time. And depending on where that source comes from, there can be stipulations on what the studio can create. So you are more independent if the funding for your project tends to have fewer to no stipulations of what the content can be. And you're less independent if the funding comes with a whole bunch of conditions. So that's my answer. I don't know if it's 100% correct, but I stand by it. So I'd love to know what you guys think. Bye.
Hi, this is Patreon supporter Feet Sniffer Weasley, and my take for an indie game is a game about Indiana Jones, obviously.
Hello, Insert Credit crew. I am answering the question, what is an indie game? From the perspective of a musician, I run a small record label and I write music and stuff. And I think in the context of music, what indie means is self-funded and self-owned, therefore self-directed. I think in the context of video games, because they're a lot more expensive to make than music, you can take out the self-funded part. I think you can be a bit more lenient there. But self-owned and self-directed, I think perhaps is an apt descriptor of what makes something indie or independent. Do you, or are you, the person creating the thing in charge of the direction of the thing? And how direct has it been translated? Whatever your vision was, how direct has that been translated from what you had in your brain to what is on the page or on the screen, so to speak? I'd say that's probably an apt description.
An indie game is when I am in the game. If I am not in the game, it is not an indie game. Checkmate.
Next, we want to hear from you what you think the first AAA game was. And if it's a good enough answer, we'll play it on the show. Not next week, though. Next week is episode 400. Maybe we'll do it for 401. So if you're listening to this the day it comes out, you got a little time. Welcome back to Insert Credit. It's time to go to the question hole. Let's see what's lurking in there tonight. This is the opportunity that you listeners have to submit your own questions to patreon.com/insertcredit, where you can get access to that form, get monthly bonus episodes, get other interesting and exciting perks and surprises. This week's question comes to us from Little Boat, who says, you are spending the afternoon with Champ Bear from Care Bears. You want to play a video game together, but he insists on only playing a sports video game. Now, according to the Care Bears wiki, Champ Bear is preternaturally skilled at all games, even ones he hasn't played before. Mm-hmm. Also, he always aims to teach people about good sportsmanship. So you will lose to him, and you will learn a lesson about sportsmanship. So here's the question. What sports video game do you pick to play with Champ Bear?
NCAA College Football 2025, so I could finally understand what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Oh!
What is the deal with that game? I saw other people talking about that game.
I am very curious about sports games. 2K, Madden, the whole thing. I have tried, at least with the football games, to understand them from like a person who has never played any of these kinds of games before. Mm-hmm. Like when the NCAA college football game came out like last year or whatever, I tried it, could not understand it. It was completely impenetrable. It might as well have been Eve motherfucking Online for how fucking like Byzantine this shit is. So if Champ Bear can teach me how to play, would love it. Or these games really, really, really need to like have some kind of better tutorial mode or a simple mode where like all you need to do is just like push the face buttons and move the stick to do something, which I guess is how you're supposed to play the game already. I don't know. It's way too fucking complicated. I do not understand it at all. The tutorials are bad. They do not assist in how you are supposed to play those games. So Champ Bear, if you've got a lesson from me, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think Ash is on the right track here. I think by that same logic, I would play Cricket 24 with Champ Bear because I think it would really enhance my understanding of world culture to know how the hell cricket works.
I had a fun experience with my friend Steve in London where we were looking for a place to hang out for a moment after going to the museum before we were going to get dinner. And we stopped into a bar that happened to be showing cricket, and they were showing basically we got to watch the last 30 minutes of a 5-day game.
Yeah.
And see like the result. And it was kind of like a down to the wire kind of a thing. So I got to get the best 30 minutes of a whole 5 days. So that was nice. Cricket is fun. Cricket is kind of the closest I've come to understanding what maybe my version of the appeal of team sports could be, because cricket is a game where you can just observe it and kind of be vaguely interested at what's happening, but you don't really have to pay attention. And you don't have to be like deep into it necessarily. And then there's all the mysterious rules and stuff that people talk about. But it's one of those things where like if you don't really care about the rules that much and you have someone with you who is into it and understands it, it can actually be a pretty fun, more of a fun experience in my experience than like football or basketball. But anyway, my real answer is I have two. One is Hypergun Sport. It would be cool to be beaten by somebody at my own video game and then learn a nice thing about teamwork for Hypergun Sport. That would be a nice little outcome for at end cap on that video game. But then the real answer is, so I would like to there's some fighting games that I would like to get better at. And so if he can really help teach me them.
What are those fighting games?
The ones I would like to get better at are probably Street Fighter, though I'm annoyed at them for putting an AI commentator in now, so I don't know how I feel.
Oh no! When did they do that?
So it's a new DLC thing that they did.
And that's so upsetting because they had a really good program where they would put actual Street Fighter commentators in there. Like,
yeah, it's just
that was
one.
Cool.
Because they were like, we're going to do a VTuber one, and then everything it says is going to be AI. Yeah, too bad. And then Oscar 120%, my favorite fighting game. If Champ Bear, is that who this is?
Champ Bear, yes.
Champ Bear can make me better at that. That's cool because that's a game I like a lot, and it would be cool to be better at a game that I already enjoy quite a bit. So those are my answers.
I wonder if Champ Bear is related to the football player Champ Bailey.
Almost
because they have the same first name.
Yes, because they have the same first name. They're related by first. Bear relations.
It might be a Japanese situation where it comes first. Yeah.
Like what you said about cricket. Well, first of all, the NCAA football. I think the thing that I was thinking of was there's a new one, and I saw people complaining about bugs in it or something. I can't remember, but. What you said about cricket is like what I got from watching the Olympics. I mean, that's why I enjoyed it like last year, just because there was so much stuff that I didn't know the rules. I really enjoyed watching like fencing in particular, or like what were some of the other rugby as well. Like some of them where it's just like some of the rules.
Some of the commentators, I liked that in some of the more like very specific sports like diving or whatever, some of the commentators were doing a good job of explaining like why this score was better than that score, and I was like, oh, I'm learning, this is fun. I get to find out why this splash that looked as tall as that other splash was actually a worse splash than the last one.
Yeah, I liked artistic swimming. That aka synchronized swimming. I actually really liked that one. The games that I would actually say are probably just because I played them the most is Tecmo Super Bowl. I used to play that game tons, and NBA Jam. Just because I would probably have at least enough fun playing the game, and they're pretty simple and straightforward. So yeah, I don't have a really good answer outside of that. I don't really follow like contemporary sports games as much, partly because there is so much like just complicated, like there's like half management sim, half like game, and then like the actual game itself is kind of jank, and like you can exploit it if you call certain plays if you're playing like football games, especially.
That's time.
Yeah,
I am going to spin a credit because I keep wanting to talk about this.
Go for it.
You got it to spend.
I'm spending it.
I feel like you and I were trying to kind of turn this into work and self-improvement, which is it's like, why are we doing that to ourselves? It's supposed to be fun times.
Talking about the Olympics brought up like something that I was thinking about before about esports. The reason why fighting games seem to continue to thrive because they're so as an esport and as a spectator sport is because they're so easy to follow, right?
Mhm.
And I was just thinking about, watching the Olympics and watching these weird esoteric ass sports like, I don't know, I can't think of any right now, but it's the Olympics. They've got everything there.
The luge.
This shit you've never freaking heard of before. The kayaking shit, whatever.
Yeah. It's like 5 types of whitewater kayaking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shooting stuff was particularly interesting. With
Oh,
all the gear
so
and stuff they
great.
had.
The reason why the Olympics works and esports like, I don't know, Dota or Valorant, at least from, my perspective as someone who's covered esports and who's very interested in it, the Olympics works while those esports don't, is because those commentators spend a lot of time explaining to you what the fuck you're looking at.
Yeah.
Esports does not do that. I remember, and I don't even know if they still do this, I used to watch the Dota 2 tournament all the time because they would have like 7 million different channels that would all display different international matches. But there was one that was specifically designed for people who had never played or had only like a very cursory knowledge of the game. And that channel was stuffed to the gills with all these kinds of different Twitch APIs that would tell you, this is what this player is buying. This is what this item does. This is what these people are doing. In addition to being supported by a caster team that would take the time to explain to you what's going on. Nobody does that shit anymore. I can't even remember the last time I watched the International. Overwatch League played around with it a little bit, integrated like explaining the action and like different like basic tutorialness in their commentary a little bit towards the end. I don't know if they brought that through to like whatever the Overwatch World Cup series that they're doing now, but like the reason why like it is so hard for Riot and all these other people to scale interest in esports beyond, taking Saudi money is because nobody fucking understands what's going on and nobody is invested in explaining it. So I just wanted to get that out there.
No, I totally hear you. Whenever I see like a clip of a game on Blue Sky or wherever, and someone is like, "Oh my god," and then they show this clip, and then I watch it, and I'm like, "What's the oh my god?" I actually, I literally don't know what's the cool thing, what's the cool part of this, and we get so drilled in to our specific niches that we forget to explain why. But I want to know why it's interesting. I feel like with Street Fighter,
the Valorant people look like they're having so much fun. League of Legends, so much fun. Can't get into it despite numerous attempts.
I tried to watch some Overwatch finals for like, I don't know, it was a class that I taught. Like there was a lecture on it, and like I didn't understand.
Was it the Overwatching class?
The Overwatching class.
Dumb. That's barely even a joke. I'm sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, I didn't understand what the hell was happening.
The reason the Daigo parry is so iconic is that it's literally the only time in esports history that something happened that was legible to anybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's one of the big. But also, I think it also worked because so many people explained why it's interesting and broke it down. Like you can find breakdowns of that everywhere. I like that back when Seth Killian was a Street Fighter commentator, he did a lot of like in kind of downtimes of matches, he would explain how things worked and why things were interesting. He would just like very quickly contextualize things, and I thought that was very helpful back in those days.
Okay, I have spent my credit. We may move on now. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
indulging me.
Thank you for spending it. Well spent. What are the rules of video game music?
No
good.
rules, baby.
Gotta be good.
No, you don't have to be good, actually.
No, the music has to be good.
Oh,
Also,
nah,
no.
Yeah,
not
that's
really.
what I meant.
I guess not. It's got to be interesting. How about that?
It's got to be interesting. Yeah, we'll say that.
This is how it works. Like these are the rules. Like I'm going to lay them out for you right now.
Okay.
So it goes like this. You've got the fourth, and then there's the fifth that comes after that.
Yeah.
And then, but you got to go back to the minor third.
Mhm.
And then I think there's like a major fifth in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And somewhere you got to please the Lord. I don't know.
And there's a baffled king composing.
Yeah. I guess.
For
And
me,
then there's just like a really sad ogre somewhere just sulking about the fact that he missed his one shot at love and alienated his best donkey friend.
This is a love song, but it's not.
Yeah.
for me, the rules are you have to have something that you're interested in as a
Mhm.
composer and show that to me. And if you don't, it's gonna be background music, which is fine, but not something that's gonna catch my attention. So you got to be communicating something to me as a musician for me to have an interest.
So here's an interesting thing, because I kind of gave up trying to compose music for games. I did somewhat in the past. And part of the reason is, like, if you are making a game and you are going to hire somebody, let's say, who is doing music, it makes sense to me that you would hire them because you already like their music and you're like, go do your thing. But a lot of people are like, well, can you do this genre of music? Can you do this genre? Do this genre? And it's like, I understand that is a skill that is valued among game musicians, just because, like, you know, you have to make so much stuff. And obviously, like, you know, with game soundtracks, you can do things that are more ambient or minimal or whatever, just because they are within the whole texture of the game, and, you know, they don't. But, like, the thing is, like, I don't think it's baffling to me why you wouldn't hire someone on the basis that, like, you already like their thing, you want them to make more of that in that vein, versus, like, oh, can you make this genre, or whatever?
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of people just don't really think about that. The other thing is, like, if you're hiring someone, I don't know, the thing that was useful for me is, like, asking, like, what is the mood of this game? Or is there, like, an emotional tone? Or, you know, it depends on, like, what type of game is. And, like, sometimes people couldn't express that. And, like, while I understand that you may not necessarily know, that is tremendously helpful for someone to try to, who is trying to do a good job. So I think that those things are frustrating to me, because a lot of the, like, emotions the music is going to carry the emotions of something. And if you can't communicate what those things are, then what is the musician supposed to do? So I think, and it ends up becoming, like, sometimes people just default to doing whatever their thing is. And if their thing is, like, you know, sounding like other games, then it's going to sound like other games. So I think there's a lot of room for, like, interesting music. And, you know, obviously, like, the example, like, obviously Silent Hill or whatever, sound design wise, but even, like, Earthbound or something, that's an example of a game where, like, the music is such a specific and large part of, like, what the entire experience is. And I think, like, a lot of people just don't even think about it, or they think, like, it has to hit specific notes or whatever, and they don't just let the composer do whatever, you know. Like, the best thing you can do is, like, have a composer you like and just hire them to do whatever the hell that they're going to do.
Let them go. Let them cook.
The right, as Orson Welles says in his Frozen Peas commercial, the right reading is the one I'm giving you.
I've talked about this, so I won't get into that part too much, but I do agree that it's better when you have a composer who is interested in a specific thing and let them do that thing. I think a lot of folks who are directing these games either don't actually really care about music, or only recently started caring about music because maybe they had to choose music for their game, and they don't really have the capacity of thinking about it. And so that's why they may ask, like, can you just do this kind of random thing? They don't know how to express what they want. And even I really know what I want, I have a difficult time expressing it, because I don't have the technical musical knowledge to say exactly what I mean. But it's been very interesting to be. So I've been working with Kurt Feldman, and the thing that I have done is found someone like him, or like Motohiro Kawashima, who we worked with on Oh Dear, and been like, I want your style, but also this. Can you put those two things together? Or, like, I want a version of
this thing.
Your interpretation of this kind of thing. And that has been pretty successful. And with Demon School, Kurt is kind of being pushed a little outside of his boundaries because he hadn't worked in these 70s style synths before, and hadn't listened to a lot of, like, Italian horror film music. But we talked it through a lot. I gave him a bunch of examples, and I was like, do you want to do this? And he said, yes, it's an interesting challenge. And he told you
there's always room for Giallo.
Yeah, exactly. And the result of that is a constant queries from journalists and just regular people at PAX and whoever else to be like, where did this music come from and how did you come up with it? Because they hadn't heard this kind of stuff before. And it was unfamiliar to them, and it seemed like some kind of, when you take something that's an established genre but is not prominent, and then you sort of modernize it, make it a little more contemporary, it winds up feeling like you invented something to people.
Yeah, Fez is a perfect example. Because I can't think about that game without the soundtrack. Honestly, is more a part of the thing that I think about with that game than anything else, and that's partly just because the approach is different from other stuff.
Right, the with Fez, as soon as that game came out, games that came out after it, if they sounded anything like that, they sounded like Fez.
They sound like Fez.
Even though Fez had distinct influences, and but Disasterpiece, Rich Vreeland took a specific approach on that then it made it feel like it was a new thing, and it came from a place of emotion and sentiment that you could feel.
All right.
I have nothing to add to this at the last moment. I just want to say to all the AAA game developers out there, you don't need to hire Troy Baker to voice your male characters anymore, and you don't need to hire Bear McCreary to do your music. Let him go. Let him rest. He's done.
Bear McCreary's all right. I like Bear.
He's fine. He does not need to do another AAA video game soundtrack.
Who's the guy who does the soundtrack for every game, Tales of whatever? What is his name? Sakuraba or whatever. That guy is 200, 300
He's very
game
busy,
soundtracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of AAA video games, that takes us to our lightning round this week. Inspired by our discussion at the top of the show, I have gleaned here a list of games and their development budgets. We're playing the Price is Sprite. Whoever gets closest to the actual game development budget figure for each of these games gets the point, and whoever has the most points wins the episode.
I assume it's not inflation adjusted. We're talking about
it is not inflation adjusted.
Right, so it cost X dollars in 2001.
Yeah, please tell us the year for these games.
Yes,
I'm not going to tell you the year for this game. I'm going to tell you the game, and you should be able to know
remember
what game what year it's from, because you're a professional video game.
It's the budget specifically.
That don't mean shit, Alex. You know that.
Yeah, the budget.
So it's the budget. Okay.
Yeah,
and these are all going to be we probably won't know the real true answers anyway, but let's do our best. It's still a fun plan.
Let's do our best, everybody. I tell you what, I will provide the year upon request.
Oh, okay.
Your first game is Shenmue. What was
Shenmue,
the development budget for Shenmue?
So 80 million, but that has been other numbers have been quoted, but 80 million is what I'm going with.
80 million and one.
Okay.
Nice.
Valid. Liz?
80 million and 82 million.
Okay.
Brandon is closest. The development budget, I think Brandon was probably thinking about the total budget, including marketing and other things.
Yeah.
Was 47 million.
Oh, you went over. We all fail.
No, this is not Price is Right rules. This is Price is Sprite rule.
Nice.
All right.
Your next game is Halo 2.
25 mil. It's probably low.
Well, it should cost twice as much as the first one.
That's math.
That's how it works. I'm gonna say Halo 2. They could have reused a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna say they tried to be what do you call it?
Thrifty?
Economical.
Yeah, economical. And they got it down to 20. I'm gonna say 20.
Liz?
I'll go over. I'll say 40 million.
Nice.
Liz got it exactly. A budget of $40 million.
Jeez.
Wow.
Nice. Okay.
I'm tempted to give you an extra point for that, but
okay, if you want to, then please do.
You know what? I'm gonna. If you get it exactly, that's worth an extra point.
Okay.
Yeah, like the $100 you get when you get it exactly right on The Price is Right.
You're right, Ash. Again, this is The Price is Sprite. I will ask you not to confuse these games. Your next game is Heavy Rain. What was the development budget for Heavy Rain?
Oh my God.
$100 million.
Okay.
Shoot. I'm gonna say 60 million.
Okay.
I'll go in between. I'll say 80.
Brandon remarkably is the closest. Heavy Rain only cost $22 million to make.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't have really big high profile actors in it. He did on some of his other projects.
Yeah, he didn't get an Elliot Page for that one.
Right.
Your next one is Dead Space 2.
Dead Space 2. Can I ask
Too
the
dead,
year?
too spacious.
That's an EA property. I just want you to know. So
Yeah,
you
that's
know
a
they
good-
spend a lot
Dead
on that
Space
bullshit.
2 was 2010,
Okay,
yeah,
2010. All right.
30.
2011.
2011.
Fi-
okay.
50 mil. 50 million.
30.
I'm going to say
Brandon says
60.
50. Ash says 30.
I say
Liz says
60.
60. Dead Space 2 was exactly 60 million. Another 2 points for Liz.
I
I don't know how I guessed these right.
It seems like guessing 60 is the thing to
Yeah.
do here.
I guessed 40 the other time.
Yeah,
I guess
Liz
you
gets
did.
40
That's
for
right.
Halo 2.
Okay.
Increments of 20 might be the way then.
Yeah.
Your next game is Horizon Forbidden West. How
Oh,
much
God.
did...
Okay.
$200 million.
Okay.
$95 million.
I'll say 120.
Ash, you're on the board. That one cost $212 million.
Right,
Holy
inflation
Lord.
stuff.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, that's
Look at
crazy.
all those
Yeah,
dollars.
recent video games, baby.
You know how many video games I could make with that? I
Yeah.
could make
How
quite
many?
a few video games.
You can
with
make
that.
like 12 video games. You could probably make
Make a
20
lot.
video games with that.
Yeah.
You can make 10 Dead Space. You can make 10 Heavy Rains.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
How much was the development budget for Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales?
Ooh, you're being real specific with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miles
Because-
Morales.
I know the budget of Spider-Man 2, but Miles Morales is a bit different. Ooh.
30 million. That's what I'm saying.
Brandon says
50.
30. Ash says 50. Liz?
It's
don't
probably
actually
not
know.
even 50 because remember, that's DLC.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not DLC, as they kept
Yeah.
insisting.
But it is. like, functionally.
We'll just go with 60 because I said that before.
All right. Liz is correct. Apparently, that game cost $82 million to make.
Okay.
Heck.
Yeah. Your next
For
game
glorified DLC.
is Battlefield 4.
Oh, shit.
Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Wait, okay. Can you give me the year for that, please?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
okay.
year of Battlefield 4 is 2013.
Boom.
Okay.
80.
Hundo.
I was gonna say 100.
Too late now.
Well, we'll say 120.
Should have also said Hundo. It was exactly 100 million. Brandon
Oh,
gets a
okay.
2-pointer.
Nice,
The scores are Brandon 4, Liz 5, Ash 1. We have 3 more to go.
Okay.
Your next game is Theostophus Part 2.
Oh, Theostophus.
I don't even know what that is. What year
The
is
Last
that
of
from?
Us. The Last of Us.
Oh,
What? Wait.
Sorry,
Shut the fuck up, Alex.
Yeah,
No.
what?
That's an old. Sorry, that's an old insert credit chestnut.
Theostophus.
Yeah, Theostophus.
We've been calling it Theostophus for a while now.
So angry. Wait, so the first Last of Us?
The second
Last
Last
of
of Us.
Part
The
2.
second Last
yeah.
of Us?
Yeah.
200 mil.
The Laster of Us. 190. Putting it.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
actually less than 200 million because I don't know. I just have a feeling. I'm gonna say 160.
This one was 220. Ash gets
Oh,
the point.
God.
Nice.
This is a game I completely forgot existed. How much was the budget of 2023's Lords of the Fallen?
Oh yeah.
That was strangely, I feel like that was one strangely expensive. And much ado was made about that. 220.
Oh my goodness. I don't remember what that even looks like. To be honest,
I
2023.
barely do. Yeah.
God, who made that?
Oh, yeah, who made that?
I've never heard of
That was
this
made
game.
by CI Games, a Polish
Who
Who
studio.
published it?
Hexworks.
Ooh, okay. And I have a feeling, no.
Yeah, the publisher is CI Games, the developer is Hexworks.
I'm bringing it down 40 million.
No, I think that budget's over $1 million. 100 rather.
So you said 40. You said 220.
I think she changed it.
I think I'm going to change it to 100
Ash went down
mil.
to 100 mil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember what this game is, and since I can't look it up.
Yeah.
I'll say 80.
Brandon, very close, 42.2 million.
Nice.
Very
nice.
expensive for a small Polish studio. But
Yeah. See, I thought I remembered that it was Polish, and that was why I went there.
this is exciting, gang. This is the last one left. Brandon has 5, Liz has 5,
Yeah, we're
Ash
tied.
has 2.
Okay.
So it's almost anybody's game. Our last
It's 2 out of 3 of your games potentially.
our last budget is Star Citizen so far.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
fuck you.
1.3 billion.
Like 1.1 bill.
I'm going 1.3 billion.
So is Star Citizen something that's in active development?
Yeah.
That
Forever,
the lore about
for the
that
rest
game,
of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been like kickstarted a billion times, has been in like early access for like 20 years. People still keep spending money on it. It's like the most expensive
You can
video
buy
game.
ships and own
Yeah.
them forever. They've got ship
I'll
NFTs.
I'll say 800 million.
Okay, we've got our guesses locked in. Brandon's at 1.3 billion. Ash is at 1.1 billion. Liz is at 800 million. The budget on Star Citizen to this date is 514 million. Liz, you are our champion this
Yes.
week. Congratulations.
I thought it was over $1 billion already.
I would have
Not
thought so too.
Yeah. We're talking development costs.
Yeah.
It-
Do you
for-
want to
even
take a
for-
guess at how much Rockstar paid for fucking GTA 6?
Well,
How much?
GTA
That's a
6
$2 billion game.
Yeah.
Dead ass. If
GTA
not
6
more.
is at a scale of like that I don't even know if it's comparable to most
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah, I can't think about that.
I don't want to think about that. Like I saw a blog about how it's expected to make $7 billion 2 months after it launches, and I violently blacked out. Like,
Yeah, that-
no.
They're basically building a city. Like that's what it is,
Yeah.
like an actual city, not just like a virtual city or whatever. It's like if you just build a city from the ground.
And it will come nowhere close to that. It'll make like maybe $2 billion, and they will say it's a failure, and a bunch of people will get fired, and I'm going to like
I mean,
get
for
angry.
me, the core gameplay loop of GTA has always been just driving a car around and listening to cool music. So it feels
Hopefully
like
they license some good music.
I feel like they built this city on rock and roll.
Mm.
They
Well,
built it on
is
Flying
that-
Lotus.
Is that what you're going to listen to? Oh, okay.
Depends
It's
on
time
which,
for
Starship.
recommendations.
Depends on which one it is.
Anyone have anything they would like our audience to check out between this week and next week, or in general?
I got a few things. One is I apparently need to continue reminding people that Mod Retro, that is making the like Game Boy LCD FPGA handheld thing. Mod Retro is owned by Palmer Luckey, the
Oh.
right wing arms dealer grifter guy. So don't buy that or anything associated with it. People keep being surprised when it comes up, and so I just want to make sure everybody knows that. Don't buy it. Next, I'm going to recommend Everdeep Aurora, the video game. It's
I played the demo of that. Yeah, I like that, the demo.
Full disclosure, it's the same publisher as Demon School's publisher, but I think it's really cute. It's a combat-free Metroidvania-ish thing, exploration-based about
a little bit Wario-esque as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, true. About a kitten looking for her mother at the end of the world.
Aw.
Really good
But the
art in that game.
Main mechanic is drilling. You drill through blocks and then you jump around and you look for your mom. It's a good game. Check it out. And then my last recommendation is if you are planning to make your YouTube career on talking about Japanese video games,
Oh boy.
just learn to pronounce the whole 5 vowels that they have in that language. Just like I don't want to say that everybody should learn how to pronounce everything in every language. Like it's okay if you get things wrong, but if you are going to make your whole deal be about talking about Japanese video games, I don't ever want to hear, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this come out of your mouth.
Take the first 2 days of a Japanese 101 class.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
Just learn how to do basic pronunciation and try your best. That's it. But yeah, I like no shame on people trying and failing as regular
Just
human
try.
beings. But if you're trying to make a business out of it, you got to just like have the bare minimum. You know, I can't pronounce Irish words, but I'm not. That's not what my brand is. So, the end. That's what I have.
Maybe it should be.
Maybe it should be.
Yeah. Look for The Irish Gamer on YouTube.
I have a couple of recommendations. If you like sci-fi, go watch Foundation. I finally pulled the trigger on that. It's actually really good.
Is it?
It is. I'm like super I love sci-fi. I love fantasy. And I like hard sci-fi. So I've been doing like a lot of hard sci-fi. So Murderbot and Foundation and Ancillary Justice, like just taking it to the face. Foundation is actually really good. Super polished. It's an Apple TV Plus exclusive. They've been killing it on that hard sci-fi shit. So I recommend that.
Cool. I just got a month of Apple Plus, so that's why I was just asking for a double down on the recommendation. Okay.
Yeah. That's a good one. I also recommend furries. Furries are cool. I like them. I managed, if you follow me on Blue Sky, you've probably already seen this, but I managed to break my mother, who was born in 1960, by advocating for furries because they're really cool. And if you want to break them in a very funny way, just insist that furries are people that should be treated like people.
We also bought just to the furry point. We bought a clipper for my dog's paws because her paw fur grows really long, and it's called Furry Touch. That's the name of the and my partner was just trying to Google it to see if it was like a reputable.
That's like that's like how there's so many brands with trans in them that I don't think they ever like it. That's similar to that. Yeah.
While I was in Paris, I saw a bus that said trans dev, and I thought about posting it on Blue Sky and being like, "Here's half of y'all's bus. Don't be late.
Just post your bus is here."
Yeah, but I didn't.
You put that up next to a picture of Guilty Gear, and it's like, there you go.
Yeah,
Mission with bait.
You put the
Ash, what's your persona?
It's probably a dog. But what I would say, also furries, I have to speak to you a little bit. Don't get in pools in your fursuits. That's probably a bad idea. Not good.
Oh,
you probably gunk up the works.
Mm-hmm.
Not cool. Don't do that. It's just, long story short, I had a very animated conversation with my mother about furries, and she was expressing all kinds of not great opinions about them because someone had told her that she had seen furries in a pool with their fursuits. And I was like, furries are cool. They're probably responsible for about 80% of internet infrastructure. They probably shouldn't get in pools in their fursuits, but like, furries are cool. Back off.
Furries are responsible for the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And it completely like upset her to say that furries are cool. So if you want to break your boomer parent, just insist furries are people.
Yeah. I think my mother at least learned about furries from an episode of Entourage, which is not the ideal circumstance.
Not a great place to learn about anything, really.
No.
So I have two recommendations. One's for the normals, and the other's for the non-normals.
The true doom murder heads.
I watched for the normals because Brian Wilson died recently. I rewatched Love and Mercy, the biopic like movie about him. If you ignore like John Cusack playing Brian Wilson, even though he doesn't look like him at all, it's a really good movie. They did like a really good job. I kind of went down like a Brian Wilson rabbit hole in the last week or whatever. I guess because he died recently. So that's worth checking out.
I say biopic.
Either is acceptable. I do want to call out Ash for a second because I distinctly remember the day Brian Wilson died. Ash shot me a DM asking, "Why are all the white people sad today?"
I had to look him up again now to figure out, like, wait, who's Brian Wilson? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Too American.
Fair. I mean, like the Beach Boys are a symbol of a lot of not great things about the America. So and some good things as well.
Yeah, we don't have time to get into it, but like I truly don't understand. I shouldn't even say it because we don't have time to get into it, but I don't understand why people think Pet Sounds is so groundbreaking. It sounds like the freaking Beach Boys to me.
I mean, it came out in 1965,
and it sounded just like the Beach Boys. I don't know.
Wait,
we're not gonna. I'm like, I make music here, and I can tell you it does sound different. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
Wait, didn't the Beach Boys make Pet Sounds?
Yes, and Brian Wilson was like the reason that Pet Sounds sounded the way it did. To some people, that is an amazing thing, and to others, like perhaps me.
Well, like half the Japanese artists that you like wouldn't be around if not for Pet Sounds, Brandon.
Yeah, okay, see, that's a step that I'm missing because I don't see Pet Sounds as being
like city
I don't
pop,
know what,
like half of the like I don't know, like the Cornelius type. I know that guy's a terrible person, but like that's a whole other. Anyway,
sorry.
Yeah, let's talk about it another time. I am
okay.
I said it in a spicy way, but I am legitimately curious because I truly don't understand.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll have to get you back on to talk about it. But
So
what's your last rec?
the non-normals is Castration movie. It's directed by a Canadian trans woman. It's 4.5 hours long. There are sex scenes, pretty explicit sex, not like violent, but like sex. So if you don't like that, you might not like it. It's pretty lo-fi, but it's a great movie. I saw a screening here with the director,
and you sat through all 4 hours of it.
Yes,
God bless.
Amazingly. Yeah, I know. It's only the first part of the movie. The second one is
it's part one.
It was pretty good. It was actually not too bad to follow. I think you can.
Did you get an intermission?
Yes, there was an intermission.
Okay, thank God.
Good.
I think you can rent it now. The director just posted, so I would recommend watching it. It is easier to follow than you think. But yeah, just supporting trans art and all that stuff is great, but it's not for everyone. Like I will say that People's Joker I also recommend. I think I was going to say,
how did you feel about the People's Joker?
I love the People's Joker personally. Some people I know don't like it, but one person I don't know. I love the People's Joker. Actually, Vera Drew is in Castration movie as a very funny part of the movie.
I recommended a couple clips from this movie a few months ago. And I haven't seen the full thing yet because of the amount of time.
It's a long movie.
I do think that while it's not for everybody, I do think anybody who's been part of or adjacent to like a DIY scene or a punk scene or a commune or like anyone who's been poor and an artist will get a lot from it. That's what I
even
think.
If you're not trans, like absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And the first hour and a half is about a weird incel guy, which is kind of related and not. So I mean, there's like a lot of things that rhyme with things that are going on that aren't just specific to the trans community. So
well, thank you for that. And you're gonna get a credit for this episode, which you can spend at your discretion. I'm going to wrap this up with some recommendations of my own. I would like to recommend that if you're listening to this show, that you do your part to keep us running by recommending it to people in your real life, by rating and reviewing it online, by giving us some money at patreon.com/insertcredit, or even sponsoring an episode by emailing me at show@insertcredit.com, where you can also send your horrible buzzers and maybe your own definition of what an indie game or a AAA game is. You can also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find us on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. This episode is edited by Esper Quinn with music by Kurt Feldman. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Ash Parrish.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
I'm Liz Ryerson.
And your game has now been saved. That's 399 times.
Nice.
399 in the can.
Yeah.